Hello. Sorry, I was just thinking about. I was thinking about another subject to talk about, and I talk about the previous book I'm still working on. Hope later today I will find something about Starlink, and then I thought about Starship, and I thought, oh, I wrote a book about Starship version 3, but never publicized it because uh, it is interesting, but uh, yeah, I was still working on it, and it became a very nice book. I have to say, I have it in front of me. It is nice. It is maybe I will publish it, but for the moment I will not publish it because uh, it is a lot of work. There are so many things with Starship 3. The platform had to change. The so many changes, and what all linked to each other is that it is a little bit too much. But what we do is why not share it with you guys? And I will just add this Windows Starship. Okay, share. Okay, look, we have a book here. Can I go make it even bigger? Preview. There's only some preview somewhere. View and then preview. Full screen. Okay, this is better. I hope. Can you see me, guys? I think what is this? Ah, this is the other screen. Okay, not. Is this maybe an ID too? Okay, is that? Oh my God, yeah, I'm doing something wrong. Sharing. Okay, this is better. Oh, the dog wants to do something. Okay, let me do it again. Hey, come, come, up, up. Okay, that's it. Look, guys, look who we have here. It's Pooh. Yeah, there she is. Huh? My Maltese. Ah, okay, let's do it again. Let's do it simpler. I have to do here a little bit. This is not working. Let me look. Full screen. Uh, not full screen. That's better. Let's go again. Sorry. Sometimes take some time in this live, and I have the time. People also have the time. Share. Okay, this is better. Okay, let me correct it. So, this is Starship 3. This is humanity's gateway to the multiple planetary future beyond Starbase and from Starbase to Mars. I cannot see it, but okay, let's go. I got it here. Okay, let's go. This is got it from the S1. The SpaceX. I call it for the IPO. So that's how I got the data. This is all chapters that were made. I think this is even more made. So this is Boca Chica. You can see that I was thinking making. You see it before in 2028. It was nothing. In 2026 and into the future, you will see that there are two towers. And of course, this is not all correct. The tower is much bigger. Stand is different, but this was just an impression for the time. It is. There are talks later. I heard that they were first thinking about getting their own gas. They have a gas pipeline that is from the north, and then they were thinking first before that they got the gas line that they drill for their own oil, but they decided not to do that, and now maybe they do it again. You can see here also there's 33 Raptors here. This is you can see all kinds. The book, what is it? It is a nice book still. Maybe I will publicize it. But the pictures are nice. You can see here Elon Musk. It was the Casino 2016 introduction of the whole thing. This was the PO. What is it? He had another name for Starship at that time, and and he was obsessed with Mars. The architecture changed. He had the different sizes of ships, small to big. There was an evolution, of course. It started with the hopper, the prototype area star hopper. We all remember those first steps in Bokuchika. And then there was this belly flop. People remember that the first belly flop. You can see 2019 it all started. At 150 meter hop, and then there's some other hops. And the belly flop started in 2020. So at that time, it went nice up. Soft landings toward 2021, and then there was this strange hold for a couple of years. It didn't really. What my feeling was, it didn't work out. It had to go faster. But you can see here also that the first splashdown, the first catch, there are 2025, 2024. Final flight was in 2025. I think a capture. Was it a capture? I think there was a cleared, or I think there was a capture or something like that. Then we have the heat shield. There was the endless puzzle for. It began with. I think he wanted to have everything with steel, and he wanted to use gas as a sort of shield. To protect the thing. Then he had tiles. Then there were too many tiles, and they were melted, and they used glue, and then they were not using glue. And now at the end, we will see that the Starship will brought home, and you will see also there that they have found another way of it. Now you see here for SpaceX that it was here also the Starlink constellation. There's also a nice image. You see America, and you see it was satellites are much smaller, but it isn't. It's an impression. I think 10,000 Starlinks are here. It was 2021, yes. So you see here also the connectivity review, the money they made, EBITDA. This was before. This is all from the S1, so these are all old, correct informations. Then we have the engines. That is, of course, then we go to, I think, AIX. Bad locations. No, it crashes. It can happen. So this is it was a book, and maybe I will still publicize it and add more pictures. I had some nice pictures of the engines, but they are a little bit, generated by AI, and they were not nice. And if I really want to use the real engine things, I have to ask permission. Maybe I did try to do that for Rocket Lab, for the Neutron. First I wanted to talk about Neutron, but they didn't respond, so I didn't want to use like the build out of the new platform, launching platform, and etc. There were all nice pictures on X. They say that you can maybe use it for free for a book, but I thought I rather want to have just an okay, because I know that Amazon, of the publisher, they want to know if you have rights to publish these pictures, because somebody owns it. Oh, my dog is going. Ooh, yeah, there she goes. So Starship. There's now a lot. I think that is the key, or the point in the whole development of SpaceX. SpaceX, you have to see it in 3 or 4 parts. I forgot in the previous talk one part. So there is the launch system, and the launch system is in service of the communication system. So what will this mean? 99% or 90% of all the launches are for only one system, and it is Starlink. And in the future, it will be Starlink, and it will be StarMind. That is what's called the databases. Now, I don't want to use the databases in space, because an AI is not a database. There is a database in it, so let's call StarMind for StarMind. So StarMind and Starlink, those need a Starship to put for a low cost the stuff in space. Then you have the AI, and what Elon Musk said, and that will be soon clear, is AI will be the big winner. That is the big money maker for all of it. It costs a lot of money to build out the infrastructure, but if he can, his idea was that he wants to build databases, not databases, mind, what is it? star mind, and these are special satellites. And he thought, what if we pull the cooling system off and we pull off the solar panels, and we have just a rack, and use that rack on Earth, because for space it was all optimized. And if he looks I think he's SMCI, HP, and Dell. He got the racks for on Earth for his Colossus, for heart. What is it? Macro heart. He has, of course, racks from those makers, and I think he started to build them for himself for the satellites, and it is much more efficient. And how they link with laser links, it's much more. So he made his own system, and he concluded it was better than the rack builders. So he will build those racks, not to put them in space for when he builds them, but he puts them on Earth in data centers. He already secured all the energy he can have. He ordered the turbines from Korea, whatever. He accumulated generators, batteries, etc., etc. I hope maybe also build out solar panels to power it, and then with batteries, of course. And then he will start to build these mind pods. I think he wants to build a rack and put it in a pod, and then not only use it for data centers, but also he wants to put it all over the country. For example, if you have a charging system, a charging place that has so many megawatts, and if nobody is charging, he can use that energy to power one of his racks, his space Starmind racks that are then on near the charging range of the cars. And of course, you can collect all the cars together to make a hive mind and then use that power also. But he is more thinking for now, we put at places where there is a lot of memory, a lot of energy, or not used energy. We buy the energy of, we generate somewhere energy where we need it for example, the semi-truck. Semi-truck will need a lot of charging stations, a lot of energy. Now, if the batteries are full and you can still generate energy, for example, with solar panels, now then you switch on an AI system. So is this workable? Is this doable? Now, if he starts, this is the first thing. He has to go with solar. The problem with solar is if you produce too much solar, you have to throw it away. You see that in with windmills in the sea. If there's too much wind and they cannot do, they have a big resistor. So they turn it into heat, and they just dissipate the energy into heat, in warming up the environment. That is the way, and they get rid of the energy, that they don't have to put it in the grid. Why would you throw energy? Of course, if there is no batteries, you can store it in the battery. But if everything is full, I had it also with my solar panel system in my garden. Sometimes it's just beautiful weather. My batteries were limited. Then your batteries are full. What then? Solar panel has to do something with energy. So this energy overproduction, who made use of it and made good money from it, were Bitcoin miners. Now, those Bitcoin miners now become data centers because they have the infrastructure. You just buy more memory and more disks, and you install, instead that you have an ASIC, so loaner processor, to make a Bitcoin, you put some memory and some hard disk to it, and you can transfer those Bitcoin miners into AI centers. Now, that's why also there's a big need for memory, and there's a big need for disks, because if you upgrade those data centers, you buy all the stock of disks and all the stock of memory directly out, because Bitcoin miners don't need this memory and sticks, and they needed it. So this is the first shock that pulled up all the stocks in memory, and so SanDisk, SanDisk, Seagate, and Western Digital spiked up when all those all those Bitcoin miners started to make the transition to AI centers. But those AI centers, those Bitcoin miners, were therefore overproduction in gas. So TeraWulf used for gas. Some other ones they are near, for example, wind farms, solar farms. Now, if they cannot do anything with energy, they can buy the energy cheap, and they mine Bitcoins for it. Now, it's also at home. If you at home a Powerwall, there was an idea from, if your Powerwall is full, everything is full, you mine Bitcoin with it, and you can still make money of this energy. Now, you can also put it into AI, and you can use this an extra AI reference. Is an unlimited TAM. Everybody, every company, every person will have a question that he wants or she wants to be answered by AI. So, and this will be only more smarter, and you need only more and more AI. Just the whole idea of AI and all this, the TAM is endless. The Kardashev scale. So it means you take all the energy of the Earth, then all the energy from the sun, then all the energy of the galaxy, and then you can use all the energy that is out there, put it in a mind, and you have a super intelligent mind. That is, everybody takes all science fiction writers think, because the more smarter you you can make life smarter than life. Because a human or a biological form with a brain can never invent new physics. Because humans are all connected to our sensors. We see, we hear, we listen, whatever. So to go out of that, if there is more to detect than we as a physical person can detect, and physics is linked to that, we will never have that idea. And they think AI could do that. So AI could evolve itself faster. And if it evolves itself faster, and it will have more sensors, it can see with cameras not only the spectrum that we can see, it can hear better, and maybe it can sense other things, maybe gravity waves. There are machines that can do gravity waves or other sensors. Now, if you connect an AI to all the sensors there are, it can maybe find correlations between things we don't know, or we cannot interpret, and it can interpret it, and it create new physics. And if it can create new physics, it can manipulate time and space or the environment around us, and the hope is that we can then travel faster as space, faster as light, and we have all kinds of science fiction there with Star Trek universe. We can jump, we can teleport, and all those things that we see in science fiction things, those are not invented by a person by accident. Those will be invented by AI. Because to create with a team of engineers and teleportation system or a warp drive, it's not, you need hundreds and thousands of, maybe millions of engineers and millions of years to do this. Now, what Elon Musk said, maybe an H100 can replace one engineer. Now, you take 1 million of those H100s, you let them run for 10 years, there is a possibility that they can create with a super AI a warp drive. Try to imagine how many engineers, or how do you coordinate 1 million engineers working on the same project? Now you need at least 10 times more management over it, so that will be impossible, not even feasible. So this will take much longer than an AI can do. So the AI, in the end, what is the end product is not to help businesses, not to help. What is the endless stem of the AI is not to run a good company or answer everybody questions on the planet of the Earth. It is create new physics, new insight of how the world and the universe works. And that's also what one of the things of what Elon Musk says. So that is what it is all about. This talk was about, this talk was about Starship. So there is an endless stem for AI. So you can build out an endless mind, star mind. I don't want to use databases. So you can make this intelligence. You can build around the sun, Kardashev scale, around the Earth, maybe a ring around the Earth for AI. For there build an enormous, how you call it, an AI center for artificial intelligence that help the Earth, people on Earth, but also calculates and create new physics, so it can create new ships and new technology that is totally alien to us, because AI will become alien for us, and help solving universal problems. So they can help us to travel to other planets, find other intelligence, or find things that threaten the universe or threaten our corner of our place. in the universe. I cannot imagine what it could be. Maybe an alien race that wants to invade, or maybe some black hole is coming our way, and this AI could find a problem to diverse this black hole or to fight this alien race. Probably alien race will also have AI and thinks the same thing. But you understand, humans, we cannot develop so fast as an AI. So if we want to survive, or we want to really survive out there, we need an AI that advance much faster than us. So we will be the tool, but we now use as the tool. We will overtake us in many ways. So how to accomplish this? How to accomplish an endless TAM, and how to sell it to the population of Earth? That's the question, and that is exactly what the whole what SpaceX and with Tesla are planning. Tesla will make the robots, the Terafab. That is the last thing I forgot to talk about. So we have the launch system. We have the things in space, what they want to build in space, the connectivity and the databases, and the AI. The AI itself, that is the Grok. And we have the future project where not much is known about, is the Terafab. And this will not the Terafab so as TSMC. It will build memory. It will build the AI chips and all other chips that are needed for the cars and for the robots. Also robots, there's also cars and robots, maybe the same, and maybe a satellite is also a robot. So you have robots, that is there's a sub-selection from that are satellites. That can be maybe antennas, something like that, but it's more stationary robot, because it will become something like a device. Then we have the cars, and it can be a semi-truck, or it can be a land mower. So the Roomba is a robot, but also a what is it? A thing that works on the big semi truck, or maybe a train or an airplane can be also a robot, because if it is automatically controlled, and also human form to use for to take over the place of the work for what the humans are doing. That's why human robots are so interesting, because everything in our world, tools are used, whatever, is all made for humans, ergonomically optimized for human use. Now, if you want to do automated, you make a robot that looks like a human, so it can use all the tools a human can use. That's why you not make a thing on wheels with robot arms, because it doesn't fit. It cannot go in a car. It doesn't have the same agility or functionality as a human. It doesn't have hands. Everything is built with 4 hands: keyboard, mouse. And if you have just 2 things, it will not work. So that's why you have to make the hands of a human, the sight of the human. So it is also evolution. It is optimized for what we are. So just copy it and make it in a robot form and use it. So base is, we need intelligence. That is for the robots and for to make it. So what is needed for this intelligence? So why is Starship so pivot point? So for the moment, you say, okay, intelligence needs chips, needs memory. That is all planned with the Terra factory. He will package it. He will make memory. He makes solar panels. Everything he will make. He has already a solar panel company for the Starlink stuff, but he will make an even bigger one for also on Earth or on the moon and whatever. And he makes probably a factory he can move to the moon and to the Earth, or maybe in space, to create solar panels there. You can imagine, if you want to have really big solar panels in space, you take an asteroid, you pull it to a specific place around the sun, you mine the asteroid, the ore you get there, you create solar panels, and that's it. You don't gonna build solar panels on the moon and move it in space. If it is a lot, you move the ore to the place where you want to build the solar panels, and you have a factory or spaceship that builds solar panels, and you build it out there. You don't move it, because it's all lost energy. Yeah, if you have to enormous amount of solar panels move to a specific position, it's all wasted money. It's better just to move the whole ore, an asteroid, to that place, and then put a factory there and build it out there. And this is why also you need all the factories on the moon and on Mars where you need. So he has to make this mobile super factory that I talked of before. You have like a factory that can build anything. It's like a super 3D printer that can make a specific product or line of products. So maybe you have a factory that can make any gas or you can make every material, and it will be modular built. I hope he's so smart that he make a factory that have multiple components, and that you ship some of those components to a specific place. You can convert it in a specific factory. It builds, for example, solar panels, and if it is done with solar panels, it will reorganize itself and it creates chips or something. So maybe in the first weeks it creates a lot of chips for the solar panels. Then it creates the wafers for the chips, and then a factory that combines them and creates a solar panel that is useful for the electricity. Something like that. So you have to be a very modular system that it can be very flexible. It's all that I see that will be the future. But the main thing is Starship. Why is Starship the most important? It's like the railway in America, or the VOC from the Netherlands that conquered the whole world, that made the whole world smaller, and by trading all over the world. The railroad made in a country everything smaller, that the ore can be in one place, the factory can be on another place, and the people that work in the factory can be on another place. But the railroad connected it all together, and it was possible. And the same with Fune. Especially countries have specific ore, spices, you can move that to a country and make money. And there's also used for slavery or whatever. So the Fune, the old boat was important. The steam train was important, and from the steam train there came the steam. The heart of the factory, the steam engine was the first for the textile industry, and the steam engine became the first motor, powering also light and whatever. The steam engine was replaced by the electric motor with the gasoline, and electricity took over, and this is where we now are. But the most important is the new train, the new ship is now another ship that's called Starship. And this development of Starship, also in the old times, to have a boat that can cross the ocean, or to have a locomotive that can go from the west coast to the east coast, or that survive and is strong enough to climb mountains, whatever. That was the limited factor, the bottleneck. The bottleneck was that. The bottleneck now to build out our future is Starship. And Starship, that is so. If you look at, and also that robots is important, AI is important. But the robots work with an AI. And the AI probably cannot be only created on Earth. You need an unlimited space and power to, at the end, create an AI that can make new physics. And that AI doesn't fit on Earth. It has to go in space, and it needs the power of the sun to run, and for hundreds of years to have first results. That you have maybe a quantum drive or whatever, or teleportation or whatever. So you need to build in space. So you need a train or the railroad into space. On the moon, you can use a mass accelerator or railgun, and but we are on Earth, and Earth has a tricky thing. We are lucky and also unlucky. The lucky thing is we can still escape the Earth with a rocket. There are planets where this is not possible. Even if you have good rockets, if you're trapped on that planet, it's almost impossible to leave the gravity well of the planet, because it is too heavy, or maybe you have not energy enough. There is not a gasoline there, that or fuel that can get you out of this planet. So we are lucky, but also a little bit unlucky that it is so difficult. And it is so difficult. That is why also now there is, for the first time, a reusable Starship. If it was easier, if we lived on the moon with an atmosphere, okay, you can see if there's no atmosphere because there is no gravity enough. But if it would like a few percent easier to get off the planet, we would have already moved into space. This will be all easier because it is so hard. It is so geary. Just you can do it. That's why we had to wait so long. Have to find somebody who can make this starship or this transport mode. And now we have this transport mode. We have it in a form of the Falcon, but that was still too expensive. But it made it possible. And directly, Elon Musk was so smart to make the internet the most important invention for humanity after the book and reading is the internet. He did put it directly in space. That is good. The next is the artificial intelligence, what will be the beginning and probably also the end of humanity. And you have to put it in space. And you will see in my lifetime, if I get an extra 10 years, in 4 or 5 years, you will see that AI will move off planet and into space. And there it will do the real inventions with physics and real breakthrough mathematics or whatever theories we are struggling with, or problems we struggle, mathematic problems we struggle with, they will be solved in space. They probably the power we can create for AI on Earth is not big enough. Not because of the size, because social impact. People will not like it if 50% of the desert will be covered with AI centers or solar panels for AI centers, and they don't can pay the bill for electricity. If this is all in space, you don't see it, you don't annoyed by it. It is just some rich man or some industry thing, and that so this development of this technology can be freely expand in space. Even if you automate it and you use like ore from the moon or from asteroids, and it is not a burden on the Earth to build out this AI in space, then you are there. So this is this after spaceship can push everything on space. You will see that it will be then the moon will be used as a production center. So you offload the Earth already from some lifting, the heavy lifting material like shields or whatever you can make on the moon. You can just push it with a railgun into space. It's much easier. So what will happen? The intelligence, like the chips and the hard things to make, come from the Earth that are light and small, and the heavy things like the hull of the spaceships in the future spaceships, or whatever we are building in space, or the platforms we built in the space habitats or whatever space habitats. They will be created on the moon and on an accelerator pushed into space, because the energy used for pushing something from the moon into space is much lower than we use the same energy from Earth to outside of the outside of the Earth to space. It is much, the gravity well is much bigger, and also if you want to dump something, it is much. It will burn up if you go to Earth, and it just falls on the moon. What last happened with the second stage of a Falcon that crashed on the moon. So nice data, what they found for that. So that is why the Starship is so important. It is the transport thing for it all, and it is especially for the Starmind to build out intelligence in space, and not so they will first build everything, pull everything from the Earth into space, then they will use the moon, and then they use the asteroid belt to build everything. They don't need anything from the Earth anymore. Fabrics, chip making, energy, everything you need to build out the AI data centers or whatever you need for artificial intelligence. That will be in space. They accumulate it and build it out at enormous speed and an enormous. They will build the robots that make it. They also make in space. So everything will be built out much faster and faster. And humans will not even be. It will be all automated. We're all done by AI. AI will create its own AI, and AI will build out its own AI. And humans are just looking at it from Earth, whatever. Yeah. So, but the thing that makes this all possible is a cheap and heavy load system like a train or a big ship where you can take and to your destination. And destination is in our case is space. So if you look at the call, the second earnings call, the first is call of SpaceX, they were talking about the launching sites. They said two in Florida and two, I think two in Boca Chica. So they have four launching sites. So they have a redundancy if one site blows up. They have still another site to launch from. There will be maybe not the production will not be ready in Florida, but they are saying they will move ships from Boca Chica to Florida to launch there, and maybe also to pick up the ship that is now in the ocean that is still floating. That will be I hope it will be a museum piece beside the hopper. They can place it and people can see it. Maybe they have to. There's maybe some secrets in there concerning the shielding or something. So they will have to maybe adjust it a little bit or tear it out a little bit so it is a rememberable piece of space history. But also the V3 they have now has a specific size. In the old time when the first time this spaceship was presented, there were already three versions. He wants to go to, I think, 90 meters, 150 or 120 meters, and 20 meters, 200 meters. 200 meters, I don't know. The diameter will be bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I think 9 meters, and then it is 12 meters, and then 20 meters. I don't know. Or was it hundreds of meters? No, I don't know. Okay, doesn't matter. So the hull becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. The size becomes bigger and bigger. So the Starship you see now is already bigger than the previous one. And I think the next one will be even bigger, and the next one will be even bigger. There will be a limit because, what I said, the moon will be the big transport thing for in space. So maybe after 4 or 5 versions, and it is still because if it gets bigger, it gets more difficult, or it gets more energy. So it's maybe there's a maximum size what you want to push into space, and think, okay, you can push now 1,000 people in space, or this cargo weight is okay. We don't have to go higher. We can then do 2 trips instead of 1 trip, so we can make extra ships. But there is probably something and weight you want. This is the minimum weight for maybe for a factory piece or something that is a meltery. It's very heavy. That thing you have to lift off, and you need a Starship able to do that. And you cannot splice it in 2, for example. So it has to go in 1 turn up. That will be the maximum size of your Starship. And if you can build this meltery on the moon, you can use it there, and then you need maybe bigger things, but then you can launch it from the moon. So if you can populate the moon as a factory, and all the things you can build out that you need in space on the moon, the Starships can become smaller and smaller and smaller, because you don't need this transport of heavy goods. The heavy goods will come from the moon and not from Earth anymore. And also will better for the resources of Earth, because you don't have to mine them and you don't need them because you get them out of space. So there will be maybe a small increasement of size. Then it will top out at a crazy size of a ship. And after that, it is not economically viable to have this spaceship, and it will become smaller and smaller again until it is like enough to transport people into space. Maybe that will be the only goal after the end cycle of the Starship. Maybe it is just transporting humans into space, yeah, and not for building materials or whatever, because that will be all done from the moon, and with maybe robot ships that are looking totally different than a Starship. Because if you build out things in space, you don't need a heat shield. You need a shield for the cosmic rays and for other problems that are there. Maybe you need something to build a magnetic field or something. So this is totally different from a spaceship that we build on Earth and we go to the moon or to Mars. If you want to really live in space, and it is far away from the sun, then you need also light, and the cosmos ray you have the protection of, and from the cold. So the spaceships for on planet, like airplanes, are totally different from spaceships that go to the moon, and the spaceship that goes to Mars also is different, because the trip from the Earth to the moon is short, and you can time it with sun activity. But if you get a sunstorm when you're on the way to Mars, you need a shield, uh, a real shield, and you don't know when you return, so you need a protective shield in your spaceship. So maybe a starship is not enough. You see, normally if you see the space movies, that it is a long ship that is very big with motors and rotating living quarters, and it is big. And if there's an sun flare, they all go to a special room. Maybe that is the only way to do it. I think if you have a small ship like a starship, maybe if it is 5 times bigger, maybe this still for a sun flare, it's not big enough. And this maybe the solution is the bigger is better in space, because there is no gravity, and you can make it thin because it is all weightless. And why not build a big spaceship near in orbit of around or near the moon, or near farther orbit from Earth, really a shipyard in space, and build out there an enormous ship, and that ship goes to Mars. Don't use. Why would you use a starship, a small ship? You need. He said, I need 1,000 of those ships. Why not build a space yard and build a real solar system spaceship that is enormous big, where thousands of people can go on. They can live. There are greenhouses. So, what also a little bit what Steph Bezos said, like a space station that moves to Mars. Is that not better than? If something happens, they can still survive for years on this spaceship, because it is also a space station with self-sufficient systems. Like there is water generation, there is food generation, so maybe animals. So everything is there to survive for years and years and years, and use that ship to go to Mars. Of course, the first missions will be easy, and will go with sort of like the pioneers went in a small ship to it and just try to colonize it there. But in the long run, if you want to have a short trip, because it is so distant, uh, it will maybe take 6 months to go there in the future. But still, you need a bigger ship than a space. There's really, you have protection there, and it will be fun those 6 months. For you cannot imagine that everybody is sitting like this for 6 months with hundreds of people in a spaceship. It has to be like a cruise liner, like the cruise liners we have here on Earth. You need that thing in space, but with food production and everything you need to go keep those people happy on this cruise ship. So you have to have cruise ships in space to move people from Earth to Mars. And if it takes 10 times, 5 times, or 10 times longer because of something, the cruise ship will survive, because it has a self-sustaining survival system with food and whatever. Or maybe at least 10 years or 5 years. So if something goes wrong with the mission, that still can deviate somewhere, and it still ends up to the moon. So it has to have nuclear energy. It has maybe fusion reactors. So it is not depending from sun. If it moves somewhere that it's too far from the sun, that it has not enough energy. So you need some nuclear stuff that can run at least for years. Then you need, of course, food production there. You need farms. You need animals in space. So you need artificial gravity. So you can a little bit imagine how those spaceships looks like. It's much more bigger even than maybe in the TV shows. You have to survive, and those ships I think you need for the trip to Mars. Don't put people in a small place and think, okay, after 6 months they are already stressed. They have to build out on Mars, and if you one wrong move and you're dead on Mars, one leak in your space suit and you're dead. The dust on Mars is also toxic. So that is, and it is so fine that it goes into everything. So a simple blow up dome or a simple settling is not enough. You need really good housing, dust free, insulated against radiation, for whatever, for the storms. So it has to be really concrete built inside of the planet, like a real bunker buildings. That, and with, if you have a dome, it has to be really thick glass, and not just some blow up plastic thing that you can do. It is all fantasy. That it has to be also waves, the cosmic radiation. You need to generate an artificial magnetic fields. That is so much more complex, but it's all possible. It's all possible because AI will help. You see, I need a magnetic field around my base. Makes a design. it reconfigures a factory and builds the machine you need to generate this magnetic field, and extra solar panels that also put out, so you can, and a robot will build out a solar panel array for this magnetic field. All will be solved. That is not, but that will be the future, because the future also will be decided by AI. And also a very big hint of the development of space. And you see it already at Jensen that says the AI chips, the NVIDIA chips are made by AI. If they would cut off the AI, they could not make the chips anymore. It's too complex. And now, 25 years of starship design and space design at SpaceX is done by engineers, with thousands of engineers. They all now already using AI. And he is now Elon Musk is thinking, the company is thinking to put all that knowledge, 25-year knowledge, in an AI and train it. So they will make a SpaceX engineer AI. And if you have one that is as good of average or good as a good one, you copy them in 1 million and you have 1 million engineers. That is better than 10,000. So you can then develop much better, much faster. You see now already that AI is creating AI models. That's why this cadence of release of every 2 weeks, every month, there's now a new AI. And if you have 5 companies, that means every day. I think in a short future, maybe every day, every 2 days, 3 days, you have a model from China, and then a model from Anthropic, then a model from AI, then Grok, then Google, the Microsoft, maybe some new candidates come to every day, or maybe every hour, or whatever, you will get a new AI model and a specific thing. So if you don't even look what all comes out because it's too much, but if you're like an artist, or you will see that at least every week or there will be a model that will stun you. But also for physics and for mathematics, this will go a little bit slower, but also they will be stunned. The first thing is like just a PhD university student, then it will be smarter, then it will be smarter than the professor, like stockfish, like chess. It's easy, it's still beatable, then it is not, you can win sometimes and then not, then it is impossible, and then it's really impossible. It is so much more smarter than the best chess player. And this will be what will happen with mathematics, with physics, and everything. And if you have so super smart AI that is good at rocket design and spaceship design, you copy it in the millions, and it will create futuristic that will create solutions where other engineers will take hundreds of years, or 50, 20 years. They will do it in days. So the new Starship will be designed or co-designed, probably first co-designed by AI. New rocket engines, the Raptor this now, will be optimized by AI. It probably is already optimized by AI. We will see fusion drives. We will see digging material factories that we want to be mobile in space, or the space build out. Maybe Optimus, that's now still created by humans. All this will all be done by AI. It will optimize. So normally what takes a human to create in 20 or 30 years to develop a product will be done in days. So you let the first 100 editions of your product, you just let it virtual, and then the hundreds that it looks like, okay, this is a good design, that one you build. And then after maybe version 200, you upgrade it to version 200. So version 101, 2, 3, 4, 5, you don't even build, because that is only a few days away. You see that's why all those models are so fast. So that is why Starship is so important. Starship will be the gateway for space, and it's the only place where we can build out endlessly the intelligence, and the intelligence will build out itself in space with first time which it needs Starship. Starship will be the lifeline from Earth to the moon and whatever, but then this role will be taken over by the moon, then it will be taken over by asteroid belt, and then it will do it all by itself. AI will do it. I think that is the order we have to see it. The role Starship can play is human transport to the moon, to the building facilities, maybe to Mars, to colonies, to space. So I think Starship will exist. And what I said, it will first grow bigger and bigger and bigger. Then, if the moon comes in action, it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller again. There will be room for other space companies like Rocket Lab. I think Rocket Lab can jump into space that is left over for Falcon 9. Other space companies can still launch, but the big things, the big build out in space is done now by Starship. Bezos has a system, the Chinese have a system. The problem is not that you can build a rocket, it's can you build 1,000 rockets a year? We can do 1,000 launches a year. That's what they said. I was listening again to the earnings call, and the financial guy said, we prepare in a few years that we are able to launch 1,000, we can launch 1,000 times a year. It means 3 times a day in a few years. Now, this is more that this means they're already thinking about the moon, populating the moon. It already means that they are building something in space that is enormous big. You need enormous amount of tonnage there. That will be, of course, the Starlink and the Star Mind, but also more. I think there are more plans there. But the key factor is Starship, and that is why everybody has to look and pay attention to Starship. It is now at a crucial moment. The shield is looking to work, so they can reuse the second piece of the ship. The first piece is the same as the Falcon. It just has to be a little bit adjusted, and they will get it right. Maybe a little bit slower, but they will get it right. And if maybe the first year, half year, I think they can still throw everything away. But they expect in 2027 they can reuse it the same way, both pieces instead of only the other piece as the Falcon 9. And then you have a fully reusable system. And then the difference between Falcon 9 and Starship is Falcon 9, they only make a few of those rockets. There was not ever an idea that we have to produce the second stage. They had to produce every week a second stage, but not a booster. Starship, they will produce maybe every day a ship, and this will accumulate to an enormous amount of starships because they need this tonnage, and they not really clear for what, but we can guess for what it is. It's not only for satellites. There is maybe a whole infrastructure that is planned to be built on planets, the moon and Mars, and in space itself. I hope Elon Musk will change what he had the idea about the moon and Mars, and sometimes from going from carbon fiber starship to steel. I hope he will get the same idea about maybe I have to build space stations or something of a spaceship yard like a Star Trek. I hope he will get that, and I hope he can get it. Maybe the AI will tell it that is that the best option, but this will come. There will be not only satellites in orbit, there will be shipyards for building enormous spaceships in Earth orbit or on the moon's orbit, and those will be built by AI and not by human design. And I think we cannot now, and you cannot imagine if AI takes control in creating space, or it goes into an industry and takes it over and does it at its speed, and it can make things by itself with robots or whatever. This evolution and building out of the infrastructure goes so much faster, and it will go faster while it is building. It's changed the tools to build it. It will go so fast, and that is something we cannot even imagine. You just have to imagine that you built a tower, a skyscraper, and half the way it changed the tooling and it speeds up twice the speed, and at the top it changed the tooling again and becomes even so. It goes faster. It creates new tools. It optimizes the design, because we now make a project and we say, okay, this is the design from beginning to end, and this is how we build it. And AI will evolve in the time that it is building something, and it finds much better way to build it, and maybe much better way to more efficiency to use it, and maybe it changed the whole building. If you build a car, now you build a car, and the car's end product, you have to design, etc. Maybe in if you want to make it, the car is built, it has two wheels, and then it says, maybe this design of the front we change. So while you are building the first car, it's already redesigning the front of the car, and it builds like that. And then if the front of the car, if it just wants to build the end of the car, it changes the backlights a little bit. That's even better. So the version improvement is done already inside building one product. And then the next car comes and it looks totally different from the first car. This could be possible if you use super AI. Yeah, if it keeps on developing itself and it can manipulate what it is building. So even, for example, a robot builds a new robot, and the robots become more advanced while they are produced. And those advanced robots can even build more advanced robots, because the old robots has a limit of how fine they can work or what they can build. And at the end, a robot will be 3D printed on molecular level, and this may be the same as a human. It looks the same as the human. You can imagine, you go smaller and smaller and smaller. What is this for TSMC and for chips? What will be the ultimate chip is that you can place atom on atom and atom on atom. So you build up the whole chip, not with optical and with lasers and with special light, and you etch it. You just build with a D3 printer the whole chip. There are, I think, already experiments with that. So I think you will see this for the real uses probably for quantum computers. I think those computers in the far future, and the computers can maybe only be built, these chips, in space. No gravity. I think there will be a time that chips will be built not at the way that we think, but they will be really made with 3D printers. They create atom for atom the chip, and that smaller you cannot go. So that will be probably the ultimate chip TSMC factory that builds chips on atomic level. Yeah, and that is the limit, and that is the maximum density for the chip that will be used at the end to create AI. It will be probably something between a quantum computer and a computer that is more logical. So maybe logic will also disappear. It will be all light waves, because light is smaller than an atom. You don't know what the future. Maybe crystals will be a supercomputer. I see some science fiction movies that the crystal is a computer because it is light, and maybe they can manipulate in a crystal in a special way of the light. And that's more efficient than it can go smaller than atoms. But I think the first level of the first bottleneck of we have the maximum speed is the speed of light. Probably the maximum smallness that we can build a chip is the on atom level, the size of atoms that we manipulate atoms in a specific pattern, and that will be the smallest way that we can build chips. Of course, the design will be improved, how we build a transistor or how we build a specific gate, but we cannot go smaller than an atom, and that will be machine that will be created by AI and will be built in space. It cannot be built on Earth. So probably Elon Musk already knows this, and he knows that the industry all will go to space, and the only way to get everything into space is to have a heavy lifting rocket to do this. And maybe he finds out this will take too long because he has to put so much mass into space to build out all this infrastructure. And there's a shortcut, and it's called the moon. So if you can build everything on the moon, it is easier to put into space, much easier than you put it from Earth into space. And at the end, you will have to build it in space itself by using asteroids as ore. This is my story. Almost 1 hour, on the 1 minute to go. So Starship is important. Follow it. It will go fast. This year, I think Starship will be launching, and it will be proven a total reusable system. Next year, I hope, maybe in 2028 a little bit, it will be human grade. Also 2028, first boots on the moon. I think fast will follow up 2029 maybe, or more, very fast. Mars, it's longer, so they will. But the production of starships will be crazy. So they have already hundreds of starships. They just two or three starships with cans with food and with water and with oxygen, and you send hundreds of them with 10 people. They can survive 10 years into space with nuclear plants. That's it. So I think look for Starship. That will be the future. It will be. I think you will see the influence of AI and what Elon Musk said. He wants to use AI engineers. That will impact the whole development on the moon and on colonies. And maybe we will see a spaceship yard that is suggested by AI and that will be built by AI. So this is my story. Starship is the pivot point, the point for humanity to evolve further than this planet. This is my talk, and hope you learned something, or if my future idea is the same how you are thinking. See you. Bye bye.